Hello there. I want to talk to you about Ireland. Think of the word Ireland. Of course, I was born in Ireland in the northern part, Northern Ireland, sometimes known as Ulster. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what does the word mean? We'll take it in two parts, Ireland. Now, we all know what land means, the country. But what does Ire mean? It means angry with deep resentment. Anger with deep resentment. I remember when I first came to America to live, I was walking through a mall here in Tampa Bay, Countryside Mall, just walking on my own. And I was suddenly approached, kind of just picked out of the crowd, by a gentleman who said that right there they were making a commercial and that they were wanting people's opinions on the difference between Europe and America, or Ireland and America in my instance. I said, I'm from Ireland, I'm from Europe. Well, he said, this is perfect, you're a perfect guest. He said, it'll only last a matter of a minute or so, but could we tape you whatever you've got to say? And they used it extensively after that in the commercial. But here's what I answered when they asked me what was the difference. If you can sum it up between Ireland and America, or even if you extend that to Europe and America. I said, my experience is this, that in Europe, if you come up with some great idea, the natural rush of opinion is to say, why? But in America, if you come up with a great idea, the natural response is, why not? Let's do it. Why not? I remember many years ago, I got a Jaguar car. I never was what you would call a car man, but I got this XJ6 from a good friend and got it very inexpensive. In fact, not only was he a good friend, he was a car dealer. And many of my friends were amazed, that a preacher had an XJ6 Jaguar. And this man came up to see it. And there it was sitting outside our front door, gleaming, beautiful. It was a lovely car inside and outside. It was very special. And he looked round it, and he looked round it, and he stepped back, and he twisted his head this way and that way, and he went round and kept going. I didn't say a word. And then when he got through of several minutes of examination, he turned to me and said, don't you see the dirty mark on that tire? I thought that sums it up. People in Ireland probably won't want to hear this, but it is one of the most negative, small-minded, small-thinking countries in the whole world. Now, I'm not going to say, therefore, everything's bad and everything's magnificent in America. No, that would be foolish. It's hard to generalize. But by and large, that negativity is awful. For example, I heard a famous Irish entertainer being interviewed here on television a few years ago. And the American interviewer said to him, well, he said, the people of Ireland must be very proud of you, must be thrilled with you. And the Irish entertainer said, no. And the interviewer said, what do you mean? Well, he said, let me tell you the difference. He said, in America, if you get a big mansion on the top of the hill, if you're successful, this was the entertainer said this, if you're successful, in America, people will say, good for him. I'm going to work hard and I'm going to have a big mansion too. But he said in Ireland, if you get the mansion on the hill, and he was only using that as an illustration, he said the natural reaction is to say, who does he think he is? Where did he get that? He must have done something wrong, etc., etc., etc. How sad that is. I remember those years, final years actually, that I lived in Ireland, and I would visit America, and I would come back to Ireland, and got the plane, usually it landed at London, and then I would get it on over to Belfast. And the closer and closer it got to Belfast, Aldergrove Airport, the more I could feel myself being boxed in and boxed in and boxed in. It really is a tragedy. I remember one time being with 3 or 4 people in a restaurant in Belfast, and suddenly out of nowhere this man came up, total stranger, who obviously had recognized me, and he wanted to fight on the spot. He didn't know me from Adam, seen me on television, saw my name in the paper, and that inclination to be against what he perceived as success. You don't deserve success. Who do you think you are? Oh, it's so horrible, so absolutely horrible. I remember one other time when my mother, bless her heart, was still with us, and she was in America with my 2 sisters, and Maureen and I. The 5 of us were having a meal in a restaurant, something like the same scenario, only this was in America. And suddenly a man approached us. He said, I was sitting over there. He said, I recognize you. He said, I watch your telecast. And he said, it's wonderful. And as he said that, he put out his hand and gripped our bill and said, I'm taking care of this and paid for all of it. One more time, it's hard to generalize. But if you don't see it and you live there, it's a pity, because if you strike out to do something for God and something for what people perceive as success, then it rises up within them to hurt you, to hinder you, to lie about you, like the man who said his mission in life was to destroy my mission in life, or another man who said to my father, he said, I'll blacken his name wherever I go. But I want to encourage you. I want you to know that when I was in Ireland, and it's the same in America, I don't boast about anything, but I tell you, the Lord helped me to live a holy life. I never stole a dime in my life. I never had an affair or anywhere close to it. They had no reason to chop me down, but that's all what they wanted to do, and the lies were multiplied. But I want to encourage you. If you live in Ireland and you're trying to do something new or different, whether it's in the ministry or the church area or not, you may need this encouragement. So please listen to it carefully. It's a little poem that says, it couldn't be done. Listen real carefully. Somebody said that it couldn't be done, but he with a chuckle replied that maybe it couldn't, but he would be one who wouldn't say so till he tried. So he buckled right in with a trace of a grin on his face. If he worried, he'd hit it. He started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. Somebody scoffed, oh, you'll never do that. At least no one has ever done it. But he took off his coat and he took off his hat, and the first thing we knew, he had begun it. With a lift of his chin and a bit of a grin, without any doubting or quit it, he started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. There are thousands to tell you it cannot be done. There are thousands to prophesy failure. There are thousands to point out to you, one by one, the dangers that wait to assail you. But just buckle in with a bit of a grin. Just take off your coat and go to it. Just start to sing as you tackle the thing that couldn't be done, and you'll do it. It's easy to laugh when the battle's fought and you know that the victory's won. Yes, easy to laugh when the prize you sought is yours, when the race is run. But here's to the man who can laugh when the blast of adversity blows. He will conquer at last. For the hardest man in the world to beat is the man who can laugh in the face of defeat. What a marvelous little poem. And I want to encourage you. I remember the time when God gave me plans, as it were, for Glengormley, just outside Belfast. And we were fought and fought and fought and fought and lied about until finally God moved us to America, and the whole thing's coming to pass here. In fact, this very sanctuary I'm sitting in reminds me of what I saw in my vision and in my mind. God has a way. God will bring you through. Now, you can't generalize, but if you can, then generally speaking, The attitude of the Irish, especially the Northern Irish, is to be bitter and complaining and put a man down. The first thing you do is say, you put him down. In America, it's different. But no matter whether they're doing that or not, you just go at it. God will bless you and serve the Lord and listen to this poem. Ireland, can you imagine it? It means the land of anger and deep resentment. See you next time.